No time to worry about Louvet now. This is Angel Weissman, an abomination created by the fusion of one of the worst monsters known to gaming and the Oriole itself. We need to put this thing out of its misery, especially before he gets any control over its mind-altering abilities. So, the flaw here is kind of interesting. I actually had to switch over to the DirectX 8 version of the game for this fight, because the flaw doesn't display correctly in the DirectX 9 version. But we also have these greed loopers that assist him. They do very weird things. Like Louvet's backup, they mostly exist to nullify your Earth Guards, but they can also heal and inflict status ailments, and they're generally just kind of irritating, so you do want to take them out as much as you can, but he can summon more of them, so how effective that is kind of wildly varies. Oh, I wonder if I should take this. Even though Estelle has 200 CP, I kind of wonder if Joshua would be better off taking this one, because I really like to spam this and get a lot of damage in on those greed loopers. This is why I gave the Gladiator belt to Joshua before he left, because you are going to have to use Phantom Raid a lot in these fights. It's a great tool for doing massive damage to the boss's minions. Okay, prone to use art. So, whenever he does that, he lowers his own defenses. That's the time to go to town, especially with S-Crafts. Like, say, a 200 CP S-Craft from a strength buff to Estelle. Like this. Of course, we still have Weissman's theme in here. Over 10,000 damage, nice one. In fact, that was even a critical thanks to her, her strike too, so, yeah, I don't regret giving that to her. I'm gonna get my buffer speed buffed, obviously. Yeah, they like to restore 666 HP to themselves as if there wasn't any further indication of how pure evil this guy is, even though that's not actually the number of the beast, it's 616, but yeah. No, it doesn't do that much damage. Okay, so now I can probably afford to focus on having Kevin Earth Wall. We're going to be using a lot of Earth Walls in this fight. But I guess now I can talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about Weissman for a very long time, and that is that, I just think Weissman is a perfect example of, like, of a hate-sink villain done right. Done very, very right. I already talked about this in another one of my series, but I do feel like sometimes people these days, they want all villains to be sympathetic, and I just feel like just because a villain is sympathetic doesn't automatically make them a good character. Like, a decent sympathetic villain is still good. It's just like any type of character, it entirely depends on how you write them, but I still feel like just having a villain who's a complete love-to-hate scumbag, there's a lot of catharsis in taking down those kinds of characters. Especially when you've got a situation like this, where this guy has a lot of HP, but actually not a lot of defenses, so going to town on him with S-Breaks is so satisfying. Let's go for a true hurricane in the middle here. Though I do admit, Weissman's involvement in the Hummel incident does feel like it comes a little out of nowhere. There wasn't a lot of foreshadowing for it, and really we didn't need any more of a reason to hate him than we already had, but it still plays into a lot of his hypocrisy in that a lot of the things that he blames humanity for are things that he himself pushed them into doing. Weissman really does feel like that kind of classic amoral scientist archetype, but taken to extremes that I've rarely seen. He just sees everything as an experiment, and there's no line he wouldn't cross in the name of research and testing the potential of really anything that he gets his hands on. It's just what happens when you take that scientist mentality to a ridiculous extreme, and I just love it. I do think Weissman is a great character, despite the fact that he, you know, has, like, is not sympathetic in any way whatsoever. It's just sometimes really fun to take down those kind of characters, and one thing that was mentioned in, I keep clocking overly sarcastic productions, but I do really like their stuff. One of the things they talked about was one thing that is very satisfying about this kind of villain is what she calls the third act breakdown, which is the point where the villain finally realizes that they can lose. The point where their facade of confidence finally collapses, and they realize, wait a minute, I may actually be in danger here. As I said before, though, it is often at those times that the villain starts to pull out all the stops and go for completely irrational plans like this, fusing himself with an ancient mind-altering artifact that nobody really understands and that destroyed the last civilization that tried to understand it. But yeah, he's really not in his right mind at this point. He's just completely lost it and just wants to take us out by any means necessary. And that's really not what he would have done earlier, but we've pushed him that far, and it is just really satisfying to see a formerly unflappably confident villain reduced to this. I think that Ace Attorney is one series that does purely evil villains very, very well in my opinion. They even, like, make their breakdown an entire, like, you know, not so much a gameplay mechanic, but a recurring thing. To go back to the gameplay here, you might want to split the party a little bit in this fight, because Godly Lance Inanna is a bit dangerous if he hits everyone. And yeah, I just love going to town on this guy with S-Crafts. Although I do think that more of us needs to be speed buffed, so let's put that on Estelle. My main strategy for these fights is to have my casters stay in the back and buff and support, and then occasionally cast attacking arts, while Estelle and Joshua go right into his face and pummel it in as much as humanly possible. Because that's really what this guy deserves. And it's been said by a lot of people that spamming True Jewel Strike on Weissman never gets old. Anyone else? No, Chloe's not speed buff right now. But I mean, we actually are getting through this guy's HP a lot faster than I expected to. This fight can take me a while sometimes, but in this instance, not really so much, but I really hope I don't speak too soon here. Getting rid of the Greed Loopers early on is pretty useful, though he can, no, he's not summoning more of them. I thought, now that I'm saying it, he was going to summon more of them, but he didn't. They can, I believe they can confuse you as well, but they can do some very weird things. Okay, we're all fully buffed, so right now Kevin doesn't have that much to do, but he could just go for Gaia Shield. Yeah, I never used Gaia Shield in my first playthrough, and it's actually better than I gave it credit for. I mean, you do pretty much need the gold gem to make it useful, because otherwise it's like 240 EP for something that's... Like, it costs basically almost triple the amount that Earthwall does, but... Sometimes there are times... Oh, yeah. By the way, catching this guy while his defense is down with Joshua's True Jewel Strike is just amazing. There's really not much reason not to spam these right now. I just really want to get one of these in with Estelle before his defense goes back up again. I love doing almost 10,000 damage to this guy, or sometimes actually 10,000 damage to this guy. Kevin is running a little low on EP though, which could be a bit of a problem. Okay, he's getting kind of low. What are you doing next? Geocatastrophe. Well, we're all guarded, so that's not really going to do much. Joshua has a 10% strength turn. He's getting pretty low. So, this song's nice, but it's nowhere near, like, particularly amazing final boss theme quality. Not really a lot to say about it. Except for the fact that there's one part, and I know that it's really weird to be mentioning this right now, but there is one part of this song that sounds a lot like the Bat song from My Little Pony, and Yeah, I can't get over that. It's like one part of the enemy phase theme of one of the later enemy phase themes of Sacred Stones that sounds like Happy Birthday. I do like this part though. This part's really good. And I think this should be over right now. Is that it? No, I think he's just barely holding on. And, well, I guess we got to see him summon a Greed Looper. How much do you have left? 60. Okay, then. Well, oh, Chloe can't get anything in before he moves. Yeah, we're all guarded. He's not going to do anything too dangerous. Yeah, that's just like a big line attack, so being slightly off-center with Estelle and Joshua can be useful there. And that is actually done. Yeah, you see, that's what you get when you mess with ancient artifacts, you don't understand. This is our real final battle against Angel Weissman's ultimate form. And I'll just let this play out for a bit. Interrupting my casting doesn't really help you when I have the time gem.
I will run no more.
Had to have this one more time, didn't we? So now that we've heard it once, that song is called The Merciless Saviour, which is supposed to be referring to Weissman, but I have my own headcanon about what this song represents. It starts out with a triumphant reprise of the Enforcer theme. And considering that Joshua has finally found his path in life. So, this is my headcanon. What is playing now is not Weissman's boss theme. It's Joshua's. So, you might notice something here. His resistances have changed, and we weren't doing much damage to him earlier. This fight does have a bit of a gimmick to it. He will periodically make himself extremely weak to one art and immune to everything else. And that's the type of thing that you have to hammer him with. Even Kevin, with his pretty low ATS thanks to the time gem, is still doing very high damage to him with wind attacks. So let's see how much damage Joshua does. Angel Weissman 2 is a very interesting fight because... No, he's making more minions. Because he has a ton of health, but it actually goes down faster than you think it would. Like, as you can see, physical attacks are kind of worthless here, but if you focus on the element that he's weak to, his health goes down very quickly. So this fight is really just a test of everything you've learned so far. All of your skills in using quartz and ornaments, arts, even physical attacks, because there are times when physical attacks are more effective against him than arts. Oh boy, he's getting a crit turn. That could be a problem. Kevin is Earth-guarded though. The other one who isn't is Chloe right now. You do need to watch things because he can change his resistances back. And he completely wasted that crit turn. The Alpha Omegas can do some, just like the Greed Loopers can do some weird things, but the main thing they can do is actually remove terrain from the battlefield. It kind of fits for fighting against a boss fused with the Oriole, which represents the element of space. For the fight to restrict the space that you can move around in. It's just kind of a cool bit of gameplay and story integration there. But there's something even worse that is done with the arena later, which we'll probably be seeing eventually. They're not trying to remove any terrain at this point, though. It's kind of weird. I guess I can attempt to get an art in with Estelle, though I don't know how much damage it will really be doing. What are you going for next? Okay, yeah, he's changed his resistances, so this is probably not going to do much. Yeah, so when he's in, I believe he's in his neutral state right now, because his defense isn't up. That's when physical attacks are a little more effective than art, so... Yep, he's back to his neutral state, so Kevin can switch back to using his buffs and his support arts. I'm not using turbo mode here, by the way, because the background moves at motion sickness... Oh, I used the wrong art, oh well. The background moves at motion sickness-inducing speeds if you use turbo mode here, so I'm going to avoid that for now. Let's just top up Kevin a little bit. He hasn't really used that Serpent Strike much since the beginning, but I hope I'm not speaking too soon. Okay, so whenever he does this, that's usually your sign that something bad is approaching. Though I don't think this is the worst thing that he can do, but his defense is now down, and that is when you want to focus on physical damage. Yeah, his defense is extremely low when he is under the effects of this, so... Can I hit... I can't hit all three of them with that, so I may as well go for Hurricane. Oh, Josh was so close to a 200 CPS break on a crit turn, but... I guess I'll take this one. Yeah, he really does not like S-Crafts when he's in this state, by the way. But I think I really need to use, not Terrosphere, that would be really dumb. There is Gaia Shield. Later games would actually organize your art. Oh, finally, they're removing bits of the terrain. Later games would actually organize your arts into different categories, like attacking... Like, you could press the L and R buttons to scroll through, like, to sort your arts by attacking, by support, and, like, by buff and debuff, so that's pretty useful. Oh, great. Can I get something in before he... Oh, I can't get an attack in before he does his thing. I may as well... That's a 10%. Can I get... Yes, I can. Tomato Sandwich to get 1 CP on Estelle. Why not? Anything to get this in before he puts his defenses back up. Raging God Angel. Okay, that was a buff. I like it when, like, late-game bosses, actually use buffs against you. And there's the Oriole's power over space going. Yep, he can affect your size, but that just drastically reduces your physical power, which Chloe doesn't care about anyway, but it probably reduces her defense. But, yeah, so now he's in his kind of crazy buff mode, which could be a problem. I guess I'll try Cocytus here. No, they're just teleporting around. It can be a little hard to see what's going on with this battlefield sometimes. It's the problem with everything being transparent. Okay, I think, yeah, that took out both of the Alpha Omegas. That's good. But, yeah, this is officially... Are we all guarded already? We might be, but, yeah, I think we already were, but oh well. Guess I'm gonna have to EP charge Kevin. Binding Curse Orbis. Oh, wait, yeah, somebody got hit by that last time. Yeah, I guess that pierces Earthguard, which is interesting. Okay, True Jewel Strike again. It's almost down to half. I really like this final boss theme because it's not the... It's very unique for a final boss theme. It's very uplifting and hopeful, and... Holy crap, this attack! I need to stop my comments on the music right now to talk about this attack. This attack is... Okay, so see how that tile that Kevin's currently standing on has like a big black ring of doom around it? Kevin needs to move right now! I will explain what that attack does after I have got Kevin to safety. This is an attack that you really want to get out of the way of. And, like, admittedly, it's very well telegraphed, so it's not, like, as jerkish as I feel a lot of people claim it is, but this is also why you really need to be speed buffed at all times, because if you can't move out of the way in time, yeah. But, okay, Kevin still has, this is where his movement, his bad movement thing is going to be a problem. Hang on a minute, do I have Sylphan? Do I have... To be honest, at a time like this, Selpharion might actually not be a bad idea. I almost never use that, but I don't know if it's like exactly the center of that circle or if it's the entire circle, but Kevin at least does have one turn to get out of that. I can just show for a proof of concept. I don't think you can cancel this. Or, oh wow, I've never actually seen that before. Yeah, you can't cancel that. Another art that I've never seen before. I don't usually find that useful, but with Kevin's incredibly low movement, yeah, he needs to get the heck out of there, because Ruin World Nobar, whatever that is. So that deletes the entire area that was under that black circle, and if you are in that area, when it disappears, that character is gone from the battle forever. That's really all that needs to be said there. So, yeah, I just realized how badly having the movement lowering quartz can work against you there. But, like, yeah, you really, like, at least he has a lot of delay on that, but yeah, you want to make sure that you're speed buffed at all times. Like, just for proof of concept. I think he's immune to this. Yeah, he's immune to that. He can only debuff himself. But yeah, that attack is just you want to get away from that as quickly as possible. Okay, just going for a basic, well, as basic as this is like the closest thing he has to a normal attack. But Kevin needs to just go for Earth Wall here. But, like, anyway, this final boss theme is just interesting because it's very, very, like, bright and kind of airy sounding. That's not really a technical term or anything, but it's just very unique. I didn't like it that much when I first heard it, but it's really grown on me. And speaking of my first experience with this fight, I have a bit of a story that I want to talk about here. So, I first finished this game around the tail end of 2017, and the second half of 2017 was actually a very tough time for me. I don't want to get too personal, but, like, I was going through some things, and I was just feeling very depressed in general. Honestly, like, my Fire Emblem Sacred Stones playthrough happened around that time, and you can actually hear some of my thoughts on these games during my Sacred Stones playthrough. And there were certain issues in the comments of that just made me even more depressed as well. Like, people seem to like that series, but looking back on it, it's not really one of my favorites. Anyway, like, long story short, I was going through some hard times in my life, and I ended up having to see a therapist, which is something that I do highly recommend. I found out so much more about myself that I never really considered before, and I really started to work out a lot of the problems that I was having and where a lot of them came from. The day that I made a major breakthrough with that therapist and found out something about myself that had been causing a lot of my issues, that day, I went home and I turned on this game and I did this fight. That was the day that I finished this game for the first time. And for some reason, there was this huge sense of catharsis that just really resonated with me. Of Joshua kind of finally getting over his issues and finding out his course in life. Joshua finally getting one up on the one who abused him. Of course, in my case is a little different. I mean, really, my only abuser was myself, but it's sort of the same kind of thing. Joshua struggled with a lot of mental issues, and just I really did resonate with what he was doing here, with what happened in this fight, with just Joshua finally just getting to get his life back on track. And on that note, we're almost done here. I should mention there are a few attacks that he actually hasn't got a chance to use. He has one move that can drain all of your CP, I think, but it can be cancelled. I learned that in a test run, so basically if his core starts glowing, I think it glows blue or green when he does that, that attack, you can cancel that, and I would recommend doing it. I think you can also Earthguard it. But anyway, now that's all said and done, what better way to finish this than with this? It's over, Weissman. Yeah, amazingly, he's still alive and well after all that. Oh, well, he just pulled a Campanella on us and just fled. Well, that was disappointing. Yeah, that thing kind of powered this whole city, remember? Speaking of losing anyone, though, I don't think everyone's accounted for. Joshua, do you need to be slapped again? Answer, yes.
バカな、そんなバカな。こんな事態、名手の予言にはなかった。待てよ。試されたのは私も同じだったということか。戻ったら問いたださなくては。
悪いけどそれは無理やね。
ケビン・グラハム、いつの間にこんなところに。どけ、貴様のような雑魚に関わっている場合ではない。貴様、魔眼が効かないのか。いくら聖杯騎士とはいえ、新米ごときに防げるわけが。
すまん、ちょいと三味線弾いてたわ。俺は騎士団の第5位。それなりに修羅場くぐっとる。ま、それでも本調子のあんたに勝つのは難しかったけど、今なら付け入る隙があるからな。
何？
俺の本当の任務は輝くあの長生内、最悪の破壊層ゲオルグ・ワイスマン。あんたの始末というわけや。
なるほどな。 だがこの程度の攻撃でこの白面を滅するなど。なんだ。潮の杭。かつてノーザンブリア北部を潮の海に変えた禁断の呪具。私一人を始末するためにこんなものまで持ち出したのか。
あんたは少々やりすぎた。いくら教会が中立でももはや見過ごすわけにはいかん。おとなしく滅びとき。
おのれ犬が。
犬か。ま、その通りなんやけどね。吉田君、君は運がいいで。俺なんかと違ってまだまだやり直せるんやから。
それってジェラシー？ドミニオン第5位下方狩りケビン・グラハム。噂にたがわぬ冷酷ぶりじゃない。
君は確か道化師やったな。悪いけど彼の方は手遅れやで。
聞いているかもしれないけど、僕の役目は見届け役なんだ。計画の全プロセスを把握し、一片の例外なく名手に報告する。教授の自滅も単なる結果であって防ぐべき事態じゃないんだ。
なるほどな。見食らう蛇、まだまだ謎が多そうや。
君たち騎士団だってそれは同じだと思うけどね。さてと、これで僕の役目も終了だ。落とし物も回収できたし、そろそろ帰るとしようかな。
何？
それではどうもごきげんよう。また次の機会に会えることを祈っているよ。
落とし物ってまさか。まあいい、これ以上は俺の権限外や。急いでエステルちゃんたちと合流せんとな。
Well, there's one thing I can say. It seems like Weissman's defeat has left him feeling salty. I normally don't do things like that, but I had to in this situation. A lot of people were talking about what kind of punishments they'd give to Weissman once we finally fought him, and I'd say having your entire body turned into salt and then shattered tops a lot of the things people came up with.